Hello, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We start the first show once again. It's a Monday, and it's a Monday after Easter Sunday. I mean, that must be a blessed Monday. I hope everybody woke up on the right side of the bed and you woke up that you need. I hope Easter Sunday it gave you the energy that you need, and I hope Easter Monday as well comes with that energy that you need and that rest that you needed from working Monday to Monday without dedicating some you time. And today I come to tell you that you times are very important for you. See, you work every day. You work morning to night, and you're busy on your desk, on your computer every day. You don't have time for yourself. Imagine that. You don't even have time for your family. Well, today came as a day for you to have time for your family. Yesterday was a day for you to have time with your family. Friday was a day for you to have time with your family. It was a public holiday, and everybody except people who sold food and who sold sodas and such things are the ones who stayed on the streets. I saw photographers decorating their booth and asking people to come take pictures. I saw hangout places. I think the cinemas were full. I think the churches were full. People celebrate Easter in two ways. The other category of people celebrate Easter while spending it in church the whole day. They're in church. That's Saturday, that's Friday, that's Monday. They're in church. And the other time, they're also, the other category of people are spending Easter while sitting at home with family. In the other category, go to celebrate it. They can go to the movies, they can go out and have lunch and have dinner with their families. Some people traveled out of the country to go see their loved ones. Everybody celebrated Easter differently. So how did you celebrate your Easter? How was it, aside, of course, from the loss that we had over the weekend that I'll be speaking about a bit later? How else did you spend your weekend? Did you do it with family? Did you ensure that you take care of yourself? From the rising crimes, IGP Ochola told us that the levels of crime are rising, and in Easter, everybody needs to be ultimately very careful about what they do during Easter and how they do it, because crime is on the large. And Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the president of the Republic of Uganda, we now call him president-elect of the Republic of Uganda, has also said that COVID-19 is in existence and you need to ensure that you keep yourself safe. And there is fear that a second wave of COVID-19 may be affecting the country. The second wave, and remember, the second wave does not respond to the vaccination that we have been given. Other countries, of course, are panicking. Kenya is said to have had or to have received the second wave already. Rwanda is already receiving the second wave. There is rumor that Congo is in the same process. However, Tanzania has reported or launched its first COVID-19 case. We clap and say thank you, Samia Suluhu, for finally revealing Tanzania's COVID-19 cases. And hopefully from then, Tanzania will start talking about its COVID-19 cases. I'm here to tell you, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, and as a journalist, that regardless of what people tell you, the truth is that COVID-19 is in existence. But can we protect ourselves from it? Yes, sir. Yes, madam. We can do that. We can protect ourselves from COVID-19 by wearing our face masks and ensuring that that face mask is on your face, by making sure that we sanitize our hands. For those who cannot afford sanitizers, ensure that soap and water is with you. I mean, it's possible. Get yourself a Tic Tac small tin, put in soap, and ensure everywhere you go you're washing your hands. However, I also know that majority of these places have stopped putting hand washing facilities, and some of them are only using disinfectant while some of them are not. Don't mind about them. Take care of yourself, because if the second variant comes, then Uganda is in trouble. So Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, about the updates that I'll be talking about, among the different updates that I'll be talking about, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ensured that he told people, especially during Easter, to be careful. We're going to see pictures of Easter and how people were in church. Some of them were unable to put on those masks for various reasons that they know best. People did put on their masks. People were all over the place without masks. They were seated at a very close proximity. That means there was no social distancing. That means there was a problem with masks. That means there was a general problem. There was a general threat of the COVID-19 pandemic. Don't be like Peter. Peter doesn't put on masks. Peter goes to places and shakes hands. Peter still hugs people without knowing where they were the previous week. Don't be like Peter. Be like Latifa, who ensures that before she enters the STV door, she has sanitized her hands. And of course, she puts on her mask, but then she has to take it off once she comes on set. Imagine if I'm talking to you with a mask on. My words would be muffled and you wouldn't hear anything I say. But hey, aside from COVID-19, which is also news that may kill our spirits, but I refuse to have my spirit killed this morning. And I tell you, wake up on a brighter note. Wake up telling yourself that today is going to be a better day than tomorrow, and ensure that you give yourself some me time. There's family, there's work, there's friends, there's stress, there's the traffic, there's the rain, but ensure that you give yourself some me time. And the me time is reflecting on yourself. Last week, me and Adam were talking about a number of things, and one of them was the SWOT analysis for yourself, the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats that you have. And the threat must not be yourself to yourself, but the competition can be you against yourself. You don't need to compete against anyone else, because here's the thing about being a competition to yourself. What you were yesterday shouldn't be what you were today. Say, for example, yesterday, you were a girl who could come, sit on the screen and say 5 to 10 words. How do you make yourself better tomorrow? How do you compete against this girl that was on screen yesterday? Is by becoming better, by becoming more articulate, by getting inspirations from different people and learning a few things from everybody. The lesson I learned in life yesterday when I was moving around and looking at Uganda, so to say, is that everybody comes with a story. I'll repeat it. Everybody comes with a story. And if you're keen and if you ask the right questions, you're going to find out the right answers and you'll get to know people. Do not minimize people. Do not judge people because of the way they look. You look at Latifa and you're like, do I want to get to know Latifa? No. Do I want to be friends with Latifa? No. Or do I want to get to know Latifa? Oh, yes. I mean, why not? She works at STV. Yes, I would like to know her. Or do I? See, don't judge people according to what they do, regardless of who that person is. They have an inspirational story that will get you up in the morning saying, oh my God, you love me. Because this person has gone through fire and I haven't. And I have a scratch on my skin and I'm already crying. I'm already shouting. I'm already complaining. What of this person who had to go through hell to get to where they are now? And I'll guarantee you one thing. Without going through that hell, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be unable to get to that perfection that you want to be, to that image of perfection, to that image of success, to that image of yourself that you want to be. I hope everybody had an amazing morning, and of course we'll kickstart the first show with a happy story, and then the other stories will be coming in as we are discussing this way. So, allow a woman to have bragging rights. Her country is being celebrated. Well, Uganda received, I want to read his right name so I don't miss it, but for those who know him, he's called Akon, and he's the Senegalese singer who has had hits that we all enjoy. One hit after the other. Akon, while he was in the music industry, we enjoyed his music, and you know what music Akon sings. Now, his true name being Alion, I hope I mentioned it right, Alion Damala Badara Thiam, a very long name. Akon seems to be an easier name for me to mention. So Akon was in Uganda, and Akon went to Rachitura to meet the president and his wife, and then they received the tour of their life. Now, aside from that, do you remember when Yoweri Kaguta Museveni appealed to a number of Ugandans to come, aside from Ugandans, Africans, in total, to come to Uganda and invest? And then he sent Abiwa Lusimbi to the US to speak to a number of African Americans to come to Uganda to invest. You remember that, right? And then we had different people. David Anderson was one of the people that was in Uganda as an investor and who had heard the president's call and heeded to the president's call, and he decided to come into the country. We have Rosina Negusi, who was the wife to Akon, Aliane Damala Badara Thiam. So she's the wife to Akon, and she was in Uganda, and she was here with us before Akon came, and then later on she decided that she would be here with Akon. We have that story of the arrival of Akon. I would like us to watch it, see them arrive into the country, and then I come back and speak more about it and where they went and what they saw and what plans the government has for Akon.
Omuyimbi Nakinko enzalwa ya Senegal Alion Thiam Damara ng'amanyikiddwa nga Akon mutaka mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda ku bugenyi obutegerekese nti bwa mirimu oba ziyite business. Ono atuuse ku makya olunaku lwokutaano. Ono era agoberedde mukyala we Rosina Negusa eyakyalako wano mu mwaka guno mwezi gwa Gatonnya, era nga yasisinkana omukulembeze w'eggwanga ne boogera ku nsonga za business oba ez'emirimu n'engeri gye bayinza okukola nga bayita mu ministry y'ensonga z'ebweru. Akon ayanirizddwa mwami Abiwa Lusimbi nga ye muwabuzi w'omukulembeze w'eggwanga ku nsonga z'ebweru w'eggwanga, omuyimbi Eddie Kenzo n'abalala bangi, omubadde ne Sheikh Ramadhan Mulindwa okuva ku kitebe ky'obusiraamu ekya Kampala mu kadde. Mu bugenyi bwe asuubirwa okusinkana omukulembeze w'eggwanga okwogera ku mikisa egiri mu kusiga ensimbi mu bitongole eby'enjawulo omuli ekitongole ky'ebyenguudo, eky'amasannyalaze, eky'obulambuzi ssaako n'ensonga z'ebweru. Ono omugaggafuge era waakukyalako ne ku bitebe by'amadiini eby'enjawulo akaseera kanaamala mu ggwanga. Mu 2018 Akon yalangiriranga bw'alina enteekateeka z'okukola ekibuga kya buwumbi 6 obwa dola za Amerika mu nsi eya Senegal nga bakiyita Akon City, era nga ne gavumenti ya Senegal yakumuyambako okukola ekibuga kino nga mujja kubeeramu woteeri ez'ebbeeyi, studio omufulumizibwa ennyimba n'ebifo by'ebyobulambuzi eby'enjawulo, era nga kijja kuba kikolera ku masannyalaze ag'amaanyi g'enjuba. Nze Arafat Musoke, STV Select enjawulo.
The information that we had when Akon arrived, and I'll tell you one thing about STV. When David Anderson came, we had an interview with him. When Rosina Negusi came, we had an interview with him. Very soon, we'll have Akon with us, and we'll tell you every time an investor comes into the country, we'll update you on who is coming and what they're doing into the country. Now, Museveni called upon the other people who are in his office to ensure that Akon is given land that he will invest. And Akon was tagged a special envoy on tourism and culture, and he has been asked to organize the Uganda Cultural Festival, which will be there once in a while, and will have African American communities celebrating Africa around the world. And Akon is going to be in charge of that. Who knew that Akon would be in Uganda? Who knew that Akon will be able to start such projects? Now, the other project that Akon will be starting, I'm sure you have seen Akon's pictures with one of the Aya brothers. So they will be having a partnership with one of the Aya brothers, and they will be setting up the Aya Akon Tower, which will be a 72-storied building within the Central Business District of Kampala. Now, aside from visiting Museveni, who has promised a lot of good things for Akon, tax holidays, free land that will be leased to him to work on, and then of course later he will give it back to Uganda with the development that it is on in future. We're not selling it to him, for those who thought that we were selling it to him. Now, they were at Queen Elizabeth National Park in eastern Uganda, Kasese. They were there and they were enjoying the lions, they were enjoying the chimpanzees. Rosina was one of those people who celebrated the chimpanzees and was excited about them. And Akon was excited about the lions, because one of the rare sights that we have in Uganda, for you who doesn't know, is the tree climbing lions that are found in Queen Elizabeth National Park. And we also have them, however, in other places. We have them in Kidepo, we have them in Murchison's Falls. However, a lot of people enjoy them in Queen Elizabeth because they're more popular in Queen Elizabeth in the Ishasha sector of Queen Elizabeth. There were also elephants that Akon and the wife saw up close. There were a lot of animals that they had the opportunity to look at. Now, for us, that is not what is important when we're talking about Akon's visit or any other investor's visit to Uganda. However, tourism is one of those places that ought to receive attention such as this, so that Uganda can be put on the world map as one of the places with the best tourism attraction in the world. And I say the world, I mean the world. Aside from that, Akon has also been asked to build a hospitality industry building, meaning a hotel in Uganda, to also boost the hospitality industry. You know that he is planning to build an Akon empire in Senegal. We could call it an Akon empire, an Akon town in Senegal. And that means Akon has that money that we need for him to invest in Uganda. Museveni told Akon that once you go back, ensure that you tell other investors to come into Uganda. Now, for you who doesn't know, Uganda has almost 10 national parks, and they're very, very amazing national parks with lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, buffaloes, chimpanzees, mountain gorillas, giraffes, zebras, hippopotamus, birds, everything else that you find only in Africa. And of course, Akon had food from Uganda, the matoke and nuts that we have in Uganda. He had all that, and we're waiting to see what exactly it is that Akon will be giving back to Uganda. Of course, majority of the investors who are coming from the US have in store are dealing in the agriculture sector. They're very excited about the agriculture sector. Some of them are excited about the pipeline that will be happening sooner or later, and the other group is excited about what is going to happen with the tourism sector. And Akon is one of those investors who showed an amazing interest when it came, of course, to the tourism sector. And he says he's going to invest highly in the tourism sector. Remember, we also have the Rwenzori Mountains that are snow-kept. For you who feels like you want to touch a little bit of snow and you've never traveled outside the country, go through the Rwenzori Mountains. They have the snow cape. We have Lake Victoria, we have the Nile River, we have the Murchison Falls, which is also a national park. Allow a girl to brag about her country. Allow a girl to celebrate her country. Akon came to Uganda, and during this COVID-19 situation, Akon reminded Ugandans that we are a beautiful nation, we have a beautiful country. And when they came and they showed us all these things that it had taken a while for us to celebrate because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the weaknesses and the pain that came with COVID-19 pandemic, we totally appreciated it and marveled at it as well and enjoyed it as it came.